Okay, hey everybody, Dan Fitzpatrick here, stockmarketmentor.com, and I'm going to really mentor you pretty easily today. This is not a market that you want to be farting around with. I just kind of went into a bit of detail in our premium strategy session about tariffs, but I'll just make it brief. Nobody truly knows what the effect is going to be, even when you know what the tariffs are. And Trump laid it all out. I wasn't really watching, I had other stuff to do, but I kind of know the broad strokes. Even if you know all the intricacies, that doesn't give you much of an edge. And the reason is because we don't know what the reaction to the tariffs is going to be on the other side. I'll just say this, it's a very complicated thing. And anybody who tries to simplify it or dumb it down is probably doing you a disservice. So I just want to look at the S&P. This is where it was today. And of course, everybody's anticipating the tariffs. And the market traders felt good enough about it to bump the S&P up to higher than it was yesterday. And even higher than it was the day before as far as closing. So this was a fairly confident market on volume heavier than average. And so the market had, as I see it, they'd kind of priced in an okay tariff situation. And then when it was actually revealed, boom, we get this big move down. And you could actually see like where did he start talking? I think he started talking back here. And then at some point, he comes out with the goods, and then we get some big slam down here. Now, I look at this level, I look at tonight's, and I'll look at the S&P as opposed to the spider, but I look at this level here. Let's see, the low is 542.10. So if I'll do this, I'll do 542.10. Okay. So I see that really as the low for tomorrow. I could be wrong, but this is what I can see happening. Overnight, all of this stuff is going to be factored in to some extent, at least what the market thinks. But what would be really cool is if we saw the S&P gap down and trade even lower. If it does that, I'm telling you, you're going to see a snapback because we've already had a big move already. So if the S&P gaps down, don't be shorting this. That's the obvious thing to do is short the market. Oh, these tariffs. Guys, that train has already left the station. All right. And if you're trying to catch that train, just think about Yellowstone going out to the train station. Okay, that can be you. So if we look at the S&P, you don't see this because this is the S&P on TC 2000 anyway, doesn't trade after hours. But if you see this go down tomorrow, I think you're seriously going to see the same thing. If this is a big gap down tomorrow, watch for a move, not like that, but watch for a move higher. In these really negative markets like this, when bad news comes out after hours, going with the flow the following morning is typically not the thing you want to do. You must trust me on that. This is not the thing you want to do. You're going with the flow. That's going to get you killed. You want to actually be going against the grain. You want to be going against the grain. And if you can do that, if you can just steel yourself to say, okay, oh my God, the market's down horrible. This is ugly. I got to get out of everything. I want to short the market. Just wait about 5 minutes and you'll wind up seeing things snap back the other way. So by the way, this isn't a prediction. It's just what I've seen throughout the years. I've been doing this a long time. And because I have been doing this a long time, I can tell you that I've been wrong a lot. So, but that's my best shot at it. If the market gaps down a lot tomorrow, don't short the market. Just let it settle out. Wait for the bulls to come back in because I promise you, they will. Okay, that's all I got for you. I will see you tomorrow.